wins and NB loses to Ekko Fox, then C9 is instead going to play Apex. But that's the requirement there, and that's still up in the air. But we are into picks and bans. Here we go. And it's Jensen not being allowed to play Malzahar. FeniX not allowed. The Vladimir Gangplank also off the table, which says maybe Lourlo really wants Shen, so that's banned away too.
Yeah, I think that's a very intelligent ban. When you see counter picks being taken away, that does kind of lead you in that direction. Still, Aurelia on the table for Lourlo is something that he is fantastic at. We've seen Impact be playing a lot of Aurelia himself lately, as well as the Gnar. And for me, Impact has really been stepping up these last couple of weeks. He has been coming into his own, not only on these tank picks, but he's been making big plays on these aggressive champions such as Aurelia.
Right, he was super good yesterday. I think he got, what, player of the game in both their wins in the series. So
last week he got picked up a couple, I think, on Aurelia too. He did some very nice plays, so he's been on fire.
And this is a player who, by his own admission, said, I'm letting my team down. I'm not doing as well as I should be. Impact was very disappointed in his own performance. And if C9 have an Impact who's like back to old form Impact, that's a really, really scary team, because you know the rest of these guys are playing exceptionally and is a real team that can threaten in the playoffs.
It definitely makes it exceptionally hard to play around them, because there's not a lot of teams in the league that really have legitimate threats in all lanes. And this is a team that has that. When Impact is on, you have Jensen, one of the top mid laners in the league. Sneaky has always been a rock for C9 in the bot lane, and Meteos has been playing very well. So, you know, with Impact stepping up, it gives so many options to the junglers. You can pick and choose wherever you want to go, how you want to play the game, and it makes it much more difficult for their opponents to adapt in both pick and ban and as far as just straight up play.
Absolutely. No, this is kind of weird, though. I don't really like Cloud9's third ban. You're talking about Impact and having some very good Aurelia performances before. What's interesting is normally blue side ends up blind picking a top laner at some point, and that blind pick ends up being Gnar.
Yeah.
With the Aurelia ban, it means C9 can blind pick Gnar. Okay, that's cool. And I guess then it lines up in that regard, like they're going for this. So
yeah, I think this is the idea. Is simply,
it makes sense now.
You cannot
I get it.
first pick the Gnar. It's not high enough priority for that. But first round, second, third pick, sure, we can take that. We can have that advantage in the top lane and try to carve it out in that way. So
yeah,
you know, a lot is going to come down to how Lourlo is going to respond. One reason that I don't love it, and I think it is still solid, but you know, an argument against the devil's advocate, if you will, is that Lourlo is fantastic on Trundle. Trundle's still available. A lot of teams even ban this guy out on it,
right?
And he has proven to be a fantastic Trundle player, very strong in the top lane, and Trundle can work very well with high impact early junglers, such as the ones that Dardoch likes to play, to kind of pick on Gnar, because you know that pillar, if you time it properly, can actually interrupt Gnar's jump. That can make it very difficult, but either way, we have FeniX on the Cassiopeia, and that was what was massive in the series yesterday against Apex. Actually, all the games Cassiopeia's team won. So the one game that TL had it, they won. The other two games where Keen had it, Apex won, and it has been coming up big.
Yeah, and of course, Liquid has plenty of movement speed to supplement to that champion, so it could look really good for these guys. And yeah, ultimately, I guess if Cloud9 are willing to just blind pick their Gnar with the counter pick gone, now they can also save mid lane counter pick whenever they want it. They could, of course, want to rush Cassio, so C9 should be getting good matchups on both solo lanes unless we do see that Trundle plus aggressive jungler come out. There's, of course, the chance for Lourlo to make that work. C9 has to round out most of their comp now. The question is, when do they pick the mid to see what else is in?
Yeah, I'm guessing that they are going to leave it for last pick here. One thing they have to be a little bit worried about, though, if you're going to pick Ashe here in this rotation with a couple picks still available for TL, is their jungler still up. Hecarim has been very popular lately, and Hecarim is fantastic into that Ashe. So, you know, are they actually going to make a move and try to put Dardoch on this Hecarim, see if he can pick on Sneaky and really kind of take advantage of that? I'm interested to see, and also Sona coming through for Matt. They did pick yesterday. They actually tried to really kind of get a very advantageous 2v2, even indexing for lane with Ignite on Matt. It backfired for them because of a fantastic early gank from Shrimp, but you know, it's still a very strong laner, and Sona into that Alistar should really give the advantage in the early laning phase to TL.
Okay, we'll see if it looks good, because yeah, definitely, I think Sona, one of the very, very best supports right now in League of Legends. The only support ban right now being the Karma, and that was picked second round blue side, right? Pretty early on here.
Yeah.
Great laner, or at least a solid laner.
Oh,
whoa! Ekko Sejuani. This is the team fightiest of team fight teams, though.
Yeah, look at all the AoE stuns they have. Just even looking down the board, you have Sona with an AoE stun ultimate. You have FeniX. You know, that ultimate can be chained up in CC as well. You have an AoE stun on Sejuani. You have AoE stun on Ekko. So the plan here is very clearly team fight, layer these CCs. If you can catch one big AoE stun, everyone else will be able to follow up after that. And it's likely that C9 will not get a chance to move, so it's going to be so dangerous for Sneaky. He's going to have to play this very carefully and utilize that beefy front line that they have drafted for to keep him safe.
Right, 3 tanks for Cloud9. The question is how safe can the backline be? And the casual Teemo hover to make sure everyone knows what's going on in the world of League of Legends today, but oh, the Vel'Koz can come back through.
Oh,
yeah,
baby,
so
we were talking about this earlier.
Backline. Another Vel'Koz, 2 in a row for Jensen.
I like it. I had the opportunity to talk a little bit about this pick with Jensen, a week or 2 ago, and it's something that I firmly believe is a very, very strong pick and will be rising in priority in competitive play. The true damage that you can get with that passive is extremely strong, and the fact that it's stacked with your ultimate now is very, very powerful. He too will have to play extremely safe, but if he can stay safe, have his front line absorb that initiation, and then return fire kind of, with the ultimate, with his poke, it's going to be very hard for these guys to live through that. So high barrier of execution here, I think, for C9 with both Ashe and Vel'Koz. If they get caught by these stuns, they will not live to move.
Absolutely not. So the question is, can they get away from it? Vel'Koz, of course, is running cleanse. Jensen does not want to be caught out by that layered CC and can hope to retreat. And you expect that Sneaky's Ashe at some point is going to be grabbing a Quicksilver Sash to not die. You probably see 2 to 3 sets of Merc Treads this game as well in the tanks. Like it's about withstanding an incredibly strong team fight squad, which is going to be difficult to do.
Yeah, it certainly will, and I think that both Meteos and Lockett are going to be, exceptionally important for Smoothie. And Meteos maybe not exactly what you always want to build on Alistar, but I think with this much CC, you kind of need it.
Well, we'll see what happens. We are getting ready to go into game 1 of our match here, and let's get ourselves into Summoner's Rift with a fan vote. Hashtag TL win, hashtag C9. Let us know who it's going to be, but we are getting ourselves into game 1 of this match. 3rd place versus 5th place in the regular season standings. Duking it out right before the playoffs.
I am very excited for this one. Has been a great weekend as far as new picks and people finally feeling a little bit safer to experiment and move some pieces around here. And I think part of that is because they have secured some playoff spots. They want to experiment. They want to say, how well will this work in a competitive game against one of the best teams? And I love to see it. Sejuani had been a mainstay for a while in competitive play, but really has fallen out of favor. And a lot of that is because the early game, you do not match up super well against some of these other champions. But if you can power farm to 6, if you can get out there with that, the team fight impact is massive.
Yeah, I know talking to a few top junglers, I remember actually I went back and watched the jungle stream with Kobe featuring Acadian, and I'm blanking on the other jungler that he brought out here. But they were talking about, it was Crumbs. Yeah, it was Crumbs. Hi, Crumbs. I know you're maybe hearing me, but I forgot about you. Either way, they're talking about playing some of these slower clearing tank junglers. Say, yeah, you run out of health a lot. If you get invaded on, you have to give up your buffs. Compared to someone like Rek'Sai in Italy, who clears fast and is full health all the time. So the question is, yes, does Dardoch get punished?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the penalty here. And right now, it looks like it's not even going to be the case. We have standard lanes here. And that means you're very unlikely to really see Meteos pick a fight here because I don't think he's going to be able to find Dardoch easily. It's not even depoys to track the jungle start.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also depends on how the lanes are going. If your laners have pressure and are shoving in their opponents to the turret, gives you more ability to kind of get aggressive there and go start sneaking around and trying to push him off some of the buffs. But he's going to get a nice leash here from Lourlo. Going to be starting over on this blue buff, and that means that he won't have problems with mana in this first clear, and we'll see how well he's able to pull it off and what Meteos is able to get done, because the fact of the matter is, even if you can't necessarily pressure someone in their jungle, you can take advantages simply through gank pressure. If you can execute on early ganks, get your laners ahead, by the time Dardoch is 6, maybe his team's too far behind.
Absolutely, and you can see Dardoch's jungle pathing actually, he's leaving the Gromp up. He considers it a bit too hard to kill for Sejuani, even though the smite benefit would help him, of course, with the extra damage output it gives. He's doing blue into wolves and getting into the bot side, probably to make sure partially that his blue buff and red buff don't get stolen away by potential counter jungling. It's
also a really smart path, and you can tell he's actually put some thought into it, has practiced this a bit, because Sejuani excels at AoE camps.
Right.
You can actually clear these AoE camps very easily, but the Gromp is by far the worst one, the hardest one for her to do. So, if you do this kind of a clear, you do blue, wolves, wraiths, red, you can base and you can be able to have enough gold to kind of keep yourself going for the rest of the game. Even get a Hunter's Potion if you're kind of indexing on that HP early.
And to keep in mind that thought as well as we look at the mid lane matchup, Dardoch, when taking the Raptors down, had W9D3 and auto attack each small Raptors once because he needed that much damage to kill them off. Anytime you're a jungler killing the Raptor camp, the small ones have much more damage than health. compared to the big one. You actually want to get rid of them as fast as you can to save your own health bar.
Yeah.
And now Dardoch, even though he's under a hawk shot and C9 knows where he is, has managed to take 4 camps. And that's not too bad.
No, not at all. And I mean, he's right there with Meteos as far as that clear goes. You know, Meteos did take an extra camp, is leaving the blue up to give over to Jensen here eventually, and is looking towards mid. And this is where he may be able to try to get some of these advantages. You know, as FeniX, if he gets caught, they can follow up with that CC.
All right, going for the gank. Can't flash just yet. And here comes the Ghost run away, and FeniX will lose a moderate duration cooldown and a couple CS. But he's otherwise okay and still has flash up for the repeat gank.
He certainly does, but flash may not matter if you get caught by that knockup because Jensen can follow it up with his stun. If you can layer enough of that in there, could be huge, but going to be...
It's funny, Meteos actually was burrowed, so we had no idea he was running through the scuttle vision. And then he goes into it, and they're like, oh, well, we know Rek'Sai's topside. Not a big surprise once he left the gank that way, but right now, actually, the junglers are equal in camps. Well, actually, slightly ahead. Basically, Dardoch is half a camp ahead as tax for Meteos going for that earlier gank. Otherwise, they're close to equal. And we watch the bot lane now as they're close to the same as well. Almost identical, actually, for these two marksmen here. So a pretty safe early game for Liquid, again, with the sort of much lower tier list jungler. Normally where the tax is actually in the early game. The early game has so far been okay.
Yeah, the fact that Sneaky and Smoothie are doing fine here in the bot lane is good for them too, because they're not getting poked out. And, you know, moving forward, as the Sona, as you do get higher on the levels, you actually have to be very scared. And you can see both supports have Ignite, so they have the potential for, you know, aggressive plays. And while Smoothie cannot poke that out, he can easily all in a Sona, right? This is something where you have to be very scared as Matt. If you get caught by that Q flash, knocked into your team with the Ignite, heal's not going to do much for you.
Yeah, it's kind of the important thing to talk about with matchups like this, and really any laning phase, is damage scales faster than durability in the early game. Right, your abilities almost double in damage when you rank them up once. Your health doesn't double when you level up to level 2. So definitely something to keep in mind, the fact that as time goes on, Matt is under more danger, and his goal is to land enough poke that was never going to be an option for C9. But it is. The mana bars and health bars are not bad for C9's duo. We may see some action a bit later on. Matt getting a bit low on mana, has 1 potion left.
Yep. A great first base here, honestly. And Smoothie, I'm not sure why he's kind of hanging around. I guess maybe just didn't have a buy.
XP.
He's going to get some XP, so pretty cool. But yeah, the first back here for Dardoch, he's able to get his Chilling Smite. He's able to get his Hunter's Potion and some boots. And with this, you really can just keep going infinitely. And the fact that he has not been challenged in his jungle, and although Meteos got a Summoner, they haven't been able to capitalize on that, means that it's a successful early game here for Dardoch. And he's going to be feeling pretty good about it. And as he gets 6, you're going to have to see these guys be very careful.
Yep. Hunter's Potion. This.
Ooh, he's sneaking around here.
Here
They're pretty far up in the lane. This could be dangerous.
No vision at all. Here comes the retreat. Fabbyy's got to get away from this one. Spell Shield does not come down into the flash combo. Fabbyy's just going to get blasted. There's first blood. Nicely played by C9. Outplaying the Spell Shield very well. Fabbyyy never even flashed away.
Yeah, no chance for him. I think he was actually right to not use the flash once he got caught by the combo. So would have had to early flash there to have any chance of getting away. Makes the mistake, though. It will be first blood over here to Meteos, and it's just TL way too far up. They only have the 1 ward. Meteos with a good path here. Fabbyy's trying to hold that spell shield. A nice CC chain there comes in from Smoothie, and they're able to pick it up. And too little too late with the spell shield at the end there. Would have been nice for it to go over to Sneaky, but still gives Meteos that jump start, and we have seen him take over quite a few games as a jungler. So.
Honestly, a really strange mistake by Fabbyyy, though. Meteos did not even flash to get into range for the unburrow, and he prey secret over the wall, so he had warning and everything, and just misses it. But now Lourlo in a battle with Impact. Lourlo has to ult away to not get killed off. Yeah, a great trade by Impact, but keep in mind that it just took an ulti cooldown, and Lourlo's health was fine again.
And it was actually really close to being pretty bad for Impact, because he was on the very edge of that parallel convergence, and had he got tagged by that, would have actually been stunned up. Lourlo would have gotten the shield, so it would have been very bad for him. And now good ward timing there from Impact may potentially keep him safe, but Dardoch is looking for the wraparound, and he is 6. This could spell trouble for Impact, but he smells it.
Impact is mini Gnar and running away a little bit, and then his nose stops working. Here comes the Q ulti. That's going to be a nice flash. And Impact is now down a cooldown, but hey, a trade of cooldowns at least.
Yep, it is that trade of cooldowns, and the rank 1 ulti on Sejuani is very long. It's like 2 minutes, so although it's still a great trade, you definitely want to try to execute on those, and at least gets the summoner. We'll see if Lourlo can kind of convert on that, or if Dardoch can make a return gank. And with Meteos up here on the top side, sometimes those initial ganks can actually bait your top laner into getting a little overconfident, and the counter ganks can come in. So we'll see how this is all going to work out, as Jensen was gifted his blue because he has that Rek'Sai jungle, and knowing there's no wards here, it's Meteos' turn to try to return the favor.
And they're going to know that FeniX is getting a blue buff transfer from Dardoch.
Lourlo has no ult.
Frame here. Lourlo no ult. He has flash, jumps towards the side. Meteos, Prey Seeker, knock up red buff, and that's going to force the flash away. The chain slow would have been too much. Impact could have joined in. So Lourlo doing what he had to do, and great for the Meteos. He's actually now forced several summoners and kills without doing anything except just showing up and ganking properly.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Actually affected all 3 lanes. Ghost popped in mid, First Blood in bot, Flash in top. Meteos really excelling here, but it is the power farming from Dardoch, and he did his first gank of his own, and he's just farming, right? He's ahead of the Rek'Sai in farm. Meteos did not decide to go for that Tiamat build, and Fabbyyy in trouble here.
Main CC from the Fog of War. Fabbyy's in a bad spot, down to 200 HP, but they're going to survive it. Ignite onto Sneaky to make sure he didn't chase in too hard. Maybe not exactly mandatory, but that's more damage dealt.
Also, really well played there by Matt to pump the damage out into Sneaky. If Sneaky was not under threat of getting killed himself, would have been able to chase in there. So actually the best way that Matt can effectively peel is simply by pumping out that damage onto Sneaky and making him feel scared.
It worked out okay for them. You saw the hawk shot come down. I believe it did spot Dardoch near the red buff, and now FeniX has to run away. Ooh, the damage! Not quite enough to kill him. FeniX was aware enough of the threat.
And Ghost had to be popped there, so does at least get the 1 summoner. But Dardoch is here, and his ult is available.
Looking for the play, the flash.
Here they go.
On to Sneaky. Here comes Alistar, and he gets in the way of it. Beautiful play by Smoothie. Now he's getting slowed down. The ulti will time out. Will there be a re-engage? That answer is no. Beautifully perfect by Smoothie on Alistar.
That was actually so well done. Anticipating the flash ultimate from Dardoch, he gets in the way, saves his ultimate to actually break it. That was perfect.
Literally perfect. Smoothie, that was an amazing play.
Really good.
And sometimes, see, when some people blame the support, when a gank comes in, just play as well as Smoothie, they won't blame you.
There you go. And so it's a flash start here. Smoothie sees it coming, gets directly in the way, headbutts him back on the flash. Just flawless execution from the C9 support there. Deserves all the credit in the world, saves his AD carry, and does not even have to blow a summoner. So things looking good here. It's multiple summoners blown for TL. Second ult has been popped, and
everyone type good job Sneaky in all chat. As we all know, AD carries get all the credit. And C9.
That's why you play it.
C9 off of Sneaky's amazing play in the bot lane gets a Mountain Drake. Man, this guy can do no wrong. Best AD carry in North America for sure. 2,000 health on the Mountain Drake.
And Dardoch's on the top side. I think he did get spotted out there, so they were able to get this down. And thankfully, that's because Meteos has been warding deep. You can see there's a ward by the Wolf Pit. They spot him on that side. Know they're safe to take this out. Impact stays safe because of that. So that is kind of some of the value that is not always immediately seen from taking the Sightstone. Yes, Meteos is not making necessarily a flashy play there, but by intelligent warding, allows them to get the dragon and keeps his top laner safe, effectively giving them a huge advantage.
And that's always the hard thing to sort of understand as well. Is like, we all watch tons of LCS games, and it's like, why can't I jungle as well as Meteos? He's just, clearing camps and ganking people. And it's the difficult decision-making, right? Playing, when you see Sejuani up there, get your team to show up, right? Like, just all the things you have to do properly. Everyone's killed a dragon, and they're like, have you taken a dragon against Liquid? No, it requires a lot of skill and a lot of very interesting sort of manipulation of information. And, hey, well done by Meteos and the rest of Cloud9. Small, actually moderate gold lead for them. 1,300 up with only a kill to their name. They're winning in farm in literally every single lane. Even the junglers are matched in number, at least.
Yeah. And with the kill on Meteos, obviously he's ahead in gold. So everyone is doing very well here on C9. But we cannot underestimate the power of the CC that is here on TL. And Dardoch is coming up. This could go tragic for C9 if they try to make the dive happen. They're expecting it. Dardoch's still waiting. He's going to come in. All
right, Lourlo taking plenty of damage. Oh, he doesn't get to ulti out. He didn't have it, so that's the kill picked up. Well played on this one. Just Impact constantly scrapping with his opponent. Made Lourlo chrono break earlier. A great dive. Dardoch's counter did not mean anything.
Yeah, and as Jensen just getting big damage out on FeniX here. She's going to push him out, and Fabbyy's getting all in.
There's CC chain. Good crescendo. Keeps Fabbyyy alive. It slowed down Sneaky, and that's going to be Liquid running out. And just difficult life for being the Sivir here.
It's for being Liquid in general.
Yeah.
As they get pushed out of all 3 lanes. And Dardoch was anticipating that gank, but they obviously underestimated the dive potential, the amount of damage that could come out here, as Lourlo was dead before Dardoch arrives, and then Jensen bullying FeniX out of lane, and at the same time, they're getting all in the bot lane. And that is one of those situations where, as a jungler, it starts to feel very demoralizing. It's like, okay, where do I go? You know, top lane's losing, mid lane's losing, bot lane's losing, everyone needs help. What do you do?
You hope you can get into 5-on-5s, right? This is the game where you say scale for late, wait for ultimates, we'll try to do it together. And I mean, we've seen games, heck, it's happened to Liquid themselves
Apex
where
yesterday.
Yeah, you get into a game where you're down 10,000 gold, but you get the one good team fight and suddenly you win the 5-on-5 anyway. So you always have those options there. It's going to be up for Liquid to, emotional as they are, calm down a little bit, stem the bleeding, buy some tourniquets, invest in ace bandages, and get into the 5-on-5s.
Yeah, certainly. And you know, on the other side of things, it's about Jensen and Sneaky staying safe, right?
Yeah.
It's about Smoothie and Meteos and Impact absorbing those ultimates, about them, you know, limiting the opportunities for their opponents to get to their carries. And through that good peeling, through that good positioning, Jensen and Sneaky will be able to return fire on the back end of these fights, and that's how they will look to win.
We'll see what's going to happen then. C9 looking very good in this early game. 3,000 up already. That is ridiculous at 14 minutes. And again, it's 900 from kills, 800 from the turret, and plenty of farming. You see the individual gold leads 900 almost on their top laner. That's huge for sure. And just in farm, it's plus 400 for their mid laner Jensen. All good things now for the Cloud9 camp as they prepare for a run through playoffs. They're one of the favorites to make it to Worlds out of North America, and bodying TL is a great way to show you deserve that.
No kidding. And now C9, they have the advantages in lane. The bottom turret is down. They're looking to kind of put some aggression on here in the jungle. Sneaky has his arrow. Jensen with the ultimate, but Dardoch, nice smite.
Yeah, guarantees his own red buff, but it's still a difficult road ahead for Liquid as they manage to not lose an objective. That's still a well-played defense, and that's the fun thing is one of the ways I like to think about gold leads. Hold on,
looking for the dive.
FeniX probably dead. Oh no, that was a great flash. Great flash by FeniX, gets away by Smoothie. It's still a turret though. C9, they're faster on the play. They get it down, another objective, 2-0 turrets.
And the best possible situation that FeniX can do there is what he did. And he still loses his turret, and he still trades support and flash, right? So this is very advantageous for Smoothie. Looks for the play, does make it happen, and they get the turret, they get the exchange of summoners. Sneaky hanging around here is looking for an arrow onto FeniX, and FeniX has no cleanse.
Ooh,
he's tagged.
Maybe dead. Layering the CC, Crescendo to stop it out, but it's going to be the cleanse into the chase, into the auto attack. And Jensen gives him a tentacle to knock him down. 3-0. 3 chase maybe into the mid lane. It's going to be a wave clear. They're going to be all right with this one.
The power of the Vel'Koz. So much damage to Ekko.
Engage 5v4. Sneaky nearly goes down. It's the re-engage as Dardoch gets knocked around. Lourlo chases in. Wants the backline. Is going to pick off Sneaky as a quick snack. And now it's the retreat from C9 as they have lost their AD carry. But they've killed off Dardoch. It looks like it's just the 1-for-1 on this. C9 runs away.
They could actually go up to Rift Herald here, perhaps, if they want, with Dardoch dead. They have the ability to try to pressure for this, and a good try on the engage from Dardoch. It was a good start, but because Matt had already blown his ultimate in the previous exchange, Cassiopeia is already dead. They didn't have enough follow-up, but look at Sneaky picking on the Cassiopeia. And mid laners need to take note. You need cleanse against Ashe, but there's a fight going down in the top lane.
And it's again Lourlo forced to use his ulti as Impact is crushing the one-on-one. Look at that, smashes him. A 3-0. Gnar Impact continues to have excellent games late on into the summer split, and what a time to get back on form.
Not even close there for Lourlo. You have to respect the Frozen Mallet plus the red buff is a deadly combination, and especially in the earlier stages of the game, that true damage and that slow means a lot.
It really does, and man, looks like the whole ban the one champ, pick the other, make sure you can pick, grab the first round red side Gnar pickup, remove the counter picks, give no respect to Lourlo, has worked out really wonderfully for him. So massive props to Impact and the rest of C9 for setting this one up. Yeah. Life looks very good for this squad right now. Huge lead for them. Won't be a perfect game. They did give up 1 kill, but it looks nice.
Yeah, and it's certainly far from over. It's 17 minutes in, and although they are down in gold, it's on C9 to play safe and absorb these impacts. But we have the Ashe arrow coming out. Oh.
Yeah, not one.
Close.
Not one's going to land us yet. So yeah, talking about gold leads, you mentioned the fact that it's not over just yet. Basically what a gold lead does for you is say, hey, in a fight that's reasonably close, you'll probably win it instead because of item advantages. But it doesn't do anything for outpushing your opponent. It doesn't do anything for matchup.
Goes Dardoch. He's trying to steal.
Wants to steal. He tries. 700 health. Smite goes through. Nicely done by Meteos. Dardoch smite a little bit too early. Couldn't make it happen. So C9 now. Mountain Drake plus more in their employ. More stats. More fun for them as they look to close this one out because they are looking great early on.
was a good try from Dardoch, but you can tell he's feeling a little bit pressure to make a play like that because they know they're falling behind, and it's a mountain on top of the Inferno. They did not want to give up these big-ticket dragons, and losing the jungle now, C9 has the ability to continue to push it up, and it's tough for Lourlo because he's so disadvantaged in this 1v1 at this point, down a lot of farm, all these kills, and you know, how does he get back into that matchup? Where do you find those advantages?
I don't think he can individually, but maybe he'll find something else in a team fight. But yeah, and the thing is, like the last 5-on-5 we saw, actually, it was a 4-on-5, and look at what 1-1 in it. Like, imagine if FeniX didn't die for free at the start, what that could have looked like.
And
so,
Sona didn't have her ultimate, right?
Right,
you know,
right.
The Ashe could have died instantly instead of being able to get a lot of trade damage out.
So you have to keep that in mind. There's always that slim chance that Liquid finds the battle they want. But in the meantime, though, it's going to be about C9 pushing the pressure in. Impact
C9
now
coming over.
On the wrong side of the
He's
got teammates coming. Impact lower and lower. A nice stun into combo into the kill into FeniX. And there comes the Destructo laser, and it's bad for Liquid. They've got to run away from this one as well. Impact still on the chase. Looks for Matt. A couple more attacks will do it. Can't quite get the kill, but it's a 1-for-0 all the same in favor of C9. Plus a lot of the turret damage.
And Vel'Koz really excels in fights like that. And it was a great flash, a great delay by Impact, getting over to his team. And then Smoothie flies in with the combo onto FeniX, who just got taken down so quickly. And if they're quick, they're pinging over the Rift Herald. They could get it before it despawns, which will just tilt this 1v1 top lane matchup even further.
As though it wasn't already bad with a level lead and 2,100 gold.
It's a lot.
If they kill it in 25 seconds, which they should,
They will.
it's going to be even more ridiculous. Impact's got to feel great. You're recalling off the buff.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. He's not going to get it.
Oh, God.
He's just not going to get it.
Wait, he's still, oh, my God.
He didn't get it.
There. That is...
It's okay, we got a replay. Death Flash gets over the Cassiopeia ult. And yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. He got one shot by a layer of crowd control. The Sejuani ult and Crescendo landed together on the same targets. They actually just kind of wasted half the duration of that CC. And even then, though, they stunned 3 people. Didn't matter.
Yeah, so that buff did expire.
Yep.
No one actually picked it up there, forcing... A little bit unlucky.
Little unlucky.
A little unlucky, but it's okay. He still has that edge. He's like, you know what? This wouldn't be fair. Let's keep it close.
Exactly. Right. Just make sure the
It's a
game
good
is
sport.
interesting for the fans. We're going to be okay on this. Yeah, honestly, though, this does look like a great world to be a C9 fan or a C9 player right now. 8,000, almost the lead, 20 minutes in. Baron is now up. Second Mountain Drake spawning before too terribly long, only 2 minutes and change. And
Jensen is really starting to pick up here on this Vel'Koz. 30 CS ahead, has 2 completed items plus the Sork boots, and this guy is going to be a team fight menace with the AoE from him. In addition to that Hurricane, they're looking for Sneaky, though.
Here comes the chase down, several ultis in. A headbutt gets Dardoch away, but Matt can't quite get in range just yet. He's trying, and he can't get it. Pulverized slows down. Dardoch volley slows down more, and they're out of this one. All as well for that squad.
Good job staying calm there. Nothing was blown. And because they have to commit so much on this side, they know Lourlo can't match up. Impact's already working on the turret, and they're getting this advantage, but Smoothie needs to be careful.
Yeah, in the meantime, it's just Team Liquid trying to engage and get something to happen. It's going to be the flash out of Smoothie. He saved his ulti, but
It's going to go down. They're just, no one's even responding, and Dardoch, I think, is going to be too little too late. Can probably just be ignored by Impact, and yeah, he realizes that
He turns away himself. He's like, I'm not going to fight Impact. That turret is yours. You earned it, buddy. Congratulations. Out they go. Nice split push happening.
10,000 gold lead in.
Sheesh.
Pretty rough stuff, 21 minutes in. TL is really feeling the pressure. They need to try to make some sort of play. You know, layer that CC, try to capitalize on their team fight, but it's going to be really tough. And C9 has kind of over-indexed on that front line in order to keep himself safe.
Looks for Cassiopeia,
Got him.
lands it on him, and FeniX is going to fall. Crumbles before our very eyes. Another pickoff. Nice aim by Sneaky.
Dies
Good job,
so
Jensen.
quickly, too, that Vel'Koz damage as well. And that's even with an Abyssal. He's
Right.
building to try to survive this, but with the true damage coming in and all that just flat burst from the Vel'Koz, it is very tough to survive.
Magic Pen definitely helps. Sork Shoe is a pretty big deal, and lots of ability power to go along with it. He's gotten so much gold, he's just got the items to kill off whatever he wants. There wasn't really any health to back up the magic resist that FeniX had bought. And FeniX had flash. He just thought he could dodge the arrow and kind of was incorrect in that assessment. So
Yeah, I'm honestly not even sure if he saw it coming, at least not early enough, because it was,
Yeah.
you know, a nice angle there from Sneaky, shooting it off from the side, somewhere he did not expect. And you know, I was talking about this a little bit earlier today. It's something that GBM has been doing where he just doesn't take cleanse into the Ashe. He's not showing that respect. And Ashe players are getting too damn good. They just pick on the mid laner. They're constantly going back here. And if you get tagged by an arrow, you're essentially just dead.
Yeah.
You need to take cleanse. And I think taking Ghost here was a little bit greedy, and he's being punished for that.
Especially because you're on a team with a Sivir and a Sona. Like, you've got movement speed.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine as far as that regard goes. I agree with you. I think it's definitely a incorrect choice by FeniX, and that's just kind of what's happened here. I want to touch on Matt real quick before. Oh, we gotta fight first. Yeah, we'll wait for that one.
Yeah, TL is looking to push in this top lane. Their whole team is up on this side of the map, but C9 may just want to try to avoid it as Sneaky and Jensen pushing down mid.
Okay, so it's the split push game. It's C9 finding it that way. It's FeniX knocked up. It's him taken out. The flashy dodged arrow, but could not dodge the rest of the damage. Another two-man kill for C9, getting more and more in the boat. So yeah, real quick, touching on what Matt's doing on Sona, because I'm curious for the new champion. Is also maxing heal, much like the other Sonas I've seen in the LCS, but has not yet gotten any extra points into his movement speed buff on the E.
They make a chase down here.
And there's the laser over the wall. Matt dangerously down, and that's going to be a kill for Impact. The knockup going to find Lourlo, but he's tanky enough to get away. Long form with the 2 for 0 with the earlier pick onto FeniX. C9 with a Mountain Drake up for the taking, but right now looking at Baron with a blue buff steal as well. They have not gotten too many steals earlier on in this game. Props to Dardoch for keeping his jungle alive, but it's them looking at some neutral objectives, and those could be picked up pretty easily.
Baron does feel a bit risky for me at this point in the game. I feel like was one of the only ways he could lose, but Lourlo gets caught.
The face check, the layered CC, had no chance to chrono break or flash. Speed with a great setup, and the rest of his team with good follow-up to boot, and here we go. Baron Ashe taking some damage. Top laner dead for 30 seconds, but the rest of Liquid are around. Matt is coming from the base. 5,000 health. Dardoch gets a 3-man stun, but there's no damage to follow up. Finally, in comes FeniX, but nope, he's already dead. Dardoch has dropped off the face of the map, and FeniX getting caught as well. A great knockup. Can't kill off Impact just yet. A double kill in for Jensen, and now back they go to the Baron. Just kidding, they're going to go heal up.
Yeah, a little too low there. Smart call. They get the picks. Why not take out that next Mountain Drake, make it even easier, spend all your gold, heal up, and return, and just do it all over again.
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of decisions Liquid had there. Of course, yes, the Baron defense did not work. They lost 2 kills. They could have instead chosen to take Mountain Drake and just give away Baron, but in a world where you give C9 a free Baron, you probably just actually lose the game off that. Yeah. So I think their only winning play was to take the 5% of winning the team fight.
And I think that if C9 doesn't turn for the fight and they overcommit to the Baron and you catch him with all this AoE, that's a way that you can get back in, right? So you have to go for that. You have to try something. But now, Jensen and Sneaky were backing with almost 3,000 gold apiece. That's a full death cap done on Jensen at this point.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to be disgustingly strong. Sneaky picking up a QSS for himself, so making sure that he's not going to fall. And that's very intelligent. He doesn't need the extra damage. He just needs to make sure that he stays alive. With double Mountain, they could easily burn down a Baron here too.
Yep.
So really all the options are on the table for Cloud9.
Yeah, it looks like for securing a 3rd place seed in the playoffs, everyone got raises and they're just spending the money right away in this game. So much more money than Liquid right now, who might be looking at a 0-2 match loss week heading into the playoffs, which is not how you want to sort your season out, but it's looking like right here, 13-1 in kills. C9, nearly a perfect game. Like, keep in mind, these are 2 playoff teams. They're only 2 seeds apart. This is almost a perfect game from C9.
And this is a team that yesterday was in the picture for getting 3rd, for actually knocking C9 out of their spot. And the loss to Apex did remove the chance of that, but still, this is definitely a team that thought they were one of the best teams in the league, and they have kind of fallen down a little bit here in this last week, but we'll see if they can battle back. They're not out of it just yet, but definitely in a massive deficit here in game 1. 27 minutes in, 50,000 gold to 38K.
And just to think about these 2 teams as well, they matched up a few weeks ago and C9 took game 1 pretty convincingly. And Liquid went back and won the series. They almost won 3 games with the remake. Got a nice flash away from the arrow, so no engage going to land for Sneaky. Now Liquid wants back in. Will they find anything though? So many Banshee spells on the team. Means not a lot of stuns, and actually Dardoch dies without even getting to ult or anything at all. Chrono Break comes in, but means almost nothing. Lourlo just does not do any damage for it to matter. As C9 takes down one of the tanks, the flash chase for Jensen. They get some CC. FeniX is going to die once again. A legendary Vel'Koz in the mid lane. 9-0-3 for the Dane. Jeez.
What a dominating performance as Jensen off the back of that is 5,000 gold ahead of FeniX. That is ugly.
That is.
Ouch.
Ouch. Yeah, and I mean, like, already if you look at Cassiopeia, you turn to stone, but it's so ugly you actually might just claw your eyes out. This is just brutal right now. 13, 15,000, the gold lead. This is C9, I think, walking this one into this point.
Yeah, I think so. Impact already took down that top lane inhibitor turret. They can look to really try to close this one out. The Ashe arrow is going to be available momentarily here, and it's pretty short cooldown. Vel'Koz ult. He almost has his too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 99.5% chance Cloud9 wins this game. Liquid have to find that 0.5%, that 1 in 200 that somehow works out for them. Top lane inhibitor is down.
Dardoch's looking
for a bit of something.
Here he goes.
Ooh, Smite is in. A bit of a slowdown into Meteos. There's the two-man stun as well, but it's on the tank. C9 are well positioned. Arrow's gonna land. Crescendo meant nothing though, and here comes the damage up, but Dardoch's gone already. Stun doesn't mean anything. Another kill picked up.
Is just playing it way too intelligently. They're not giving him a chance to get back to their carries. You have Sneaky over in the Wolf Pit, Jensen all the way back by the blue buff, and these frontliners are just running at you in your face. They're so far ahead that you cannot ignore their damage. In comes the TP from Impact. They're looking to close this one out.
So whether it's Apex or Envy, beware, because Cloud9 looks scary and they look angry. The second inhibitor going to be going down pretty quickly on this one as C9 can close out the regular split with a dominating win. Of course, there's still more games to play in this match. It is a best of 3. It's not over just yet the whole time, but this individual game, if C9 keeps playing like this is a scary team for sure.
Ooh, full Void Staff for Jensen.
Every time he recalls, he just buys another 3,000 gold item. This is ridiculous. He is so far ahead right now.
Mr. Moneybags over here just gets his pick of the litter.
I mean, he has, what, like 62% of all of his team's kills right now. He has 14,000 gold. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do whatever he wants.
He's getting close to doubling up on FeniX as far
Yep.
as gold goes. 10-0-3. What a game on Vel'Koz. He's already played it once this split, but you know, his team was winning that one very hard, and he didn't really get a chance to get involved in a lot of fights, and now is really kind of flexing that Vel'Koz muscle and looking great on this pick. So be interested to see if it does continue to come out. TL are going to have to try to make one more stand.
All right, they're going to hope for it right here. Ashe arrow comes in, and it still tags FeniX. There's the knockup, there's the combo, there's the kill. Impact himself is unstoppable. Another one comes in for Sneaky as well, finally getting himself his second kill of the game. And now here comes this final push in onto the third and final inhibitor turret. The inhibitor itself.
It's all over but the crying Phreak. This one is going to be in the books. Ooh. C9 looking to take game 1 here over Team Liquid.
And Liquid hoping to forget it ever happened. Cloud9 1 kill short of a perfect game to start their series against Liquid. The next is going to get smashed. If they don't dive the fountain, they're going to get them all. And there we go, 18-1. A beautiful game 1 for C9.
Really not much else to say besides that. C9 played this one to perfection, looked so good the whole time. And the only blemish was that one sneaky death in the mid game, and you know, by that tier 1 turret. But still, C9 looked fantastic. The top lane matchup got severely tilted in the favor of Impact, and
yeah,
TL honestly, their comp I think has a lot of potential here, but they never actually got a chance to get it rolling. They were so far behind. They were losing every lane significantly before they even got to the teamfight stage. And if you're not able to actually kind of weather that early game storm and stay relevant, well, your teamfight team doesn't really matter.
Right, and some of that was the champ select strategy. I think there's 2 main points you can kind of blame. One is, okay, Sejuani is a weaker early game jungler. Her gank pressure is not there, and that is definitely a not insignificant part of what happened here.
Certainly.
The other half, though, was C9's champ select strategy, right? Their final ban was Irelia, so that they could first pick Gnar red side and said, hey, Lourlo, I bet you don't have any counter picks you can work. Mid lane, right? Blind pick Cassiopeia, Vel'Koz comes in. That works too. Liquid also blind picked their AD carrying support. Kind of counterpick that as well. So winning lanes kind of all down the board. C9 winning their lanes. Good job by them.
I also think credit where credit's due. You know, it was a lot of champ select, but still, they played fantastic individually. Some big plays. You know, Smoothie keeping his team safe multiple times, and these guys played it flawlessly. So credit to them.
Definite credit to Cloud9. So a great game 1 win for them. But now let's break it down with Dash.